The taxi stopped 2 houses before ours. She stepped out barefoot, heels in hand, phone to her ear. I watched from the upstairs window, already dressed for work but unable to move. She laughed at something, head tilted back, the way she used to when she thought I was charming. It wasn't for me now. That laugh belonged to someone else. Jessica didn't see me when she walked in. The door creaked like it always did, same sound it made 100 times before, only now it felt like it announced something different. She dropped her shoes by the wall, tossed her clutch on the couch, and let out this low sigh like she'd just escaped something suffocating. "Morning," I said from the kitchen. I didn't turn around. She paused. I could feel it. That tiny silence where panic and calculation wrestle behind the eyes. "Hey, you're up." "I usually am at this time," I said. I stirred my coffee. "You told me your flight was getting in at 10. Yeah, it did. Early. Got lucky with the schedule, you know?" I turned then. She was still in the black dress. The same one I'd seen in the video. The same one she never packed in front of me. It hugged her in ways she used to save for me, tight in the hips, back low enough to tease, not meant for a simple hen night. I could smell the bourbon, the smoke, something else, something raw and sweat-slick that clung to her skin like a memory. "Good night?" I asked. Jessica blinked fast. Smiled like I was being cute. Oh my God, it was crazy. Megan got so wasted she was dancing with a parking meter at one point. You should have seen it. Total chaos. She had rehearsed it. Every word was polished with ease. Her lies always wore gloss. This one was cherry-flavored. I nodded. "Glad you had fun." I didn't tell her I hadn't slept. Didn't tell her I rewatched the video 11 times in a dark living room with the volume low. I memorized the laugh she gave him when he whispered something in her ear. How her fingers slipped into his back pocket like they belonged there. How she said, "Just one more before we go back down, no one's gonna miss us." The way she bit her lip afterward like she was drunk on more than just tequila. She looked at me now with a kind of studied normalcy. Trying to gauge what I knew. Wondering if my eyes were showing blood. I sat at the table, coffee untouched. "Did you make any new friends?" That froze her. Just a half-beat. Barely visible if you weren't listening for it. "What?" "Just asking if you met anyone new. That's all." Jessica laughed, too sharp, too sudden. "No, Nate. I spent the whole time wrangling drunk bridesmaids. Not exactly a networking retreat." She walked past me to the fridge. Opened it. Grabbed the almond milk. She wasn't thirsty. She needed space between us. I could feel the miles she was trying to create in just a few feet of tile. "Everything okay?" she asked, voice light. "Sure. You're being weird." "Am I?" She turned and leaned against the counter, arms folded under her chest. That dress still clinging. That perfume still fighting to cover the stench of betrayal. She gave me that stare, the one she used to use when she wanted me to drop it. Back when it worked. But it didn't now. "You didn't post anything," I said. "Ha! From the night out. No pics. No videos. You always post stuff." "Oh. Another beat. I didn't want to be on my phone the whole time. Trying to be present, you know? She took a sip of almond milk like it would wash down her guilt. "You sure you didn't meet anyone?" I asked again, as locked on hers. Jessica's face flickered. I saw it. The twitch of her jaw. The eyes that widened just slightly before narrowing like I was the problem. "Why are you asking me this?" she said. "No reason. Just wondering why someone sent me a video of you grinding on a guy in a hotel hallway." There. The silence cracked the air between us like a rifle shot. She stood still. Like she forgot how to move. Then her mouth opened. Closed. Opened again. "What?" "I got a video. From someone. Early Sunday. You were in it. Him too. Same dress. Same laugh. Same line. About no one missing you." Her face turned a pale color I hadn't seen before. Not fear, something worse. Recognition. That I wasn't bluffing. That she'd slipped. That he had probably taken the video. Maybe sent it by mistake. Or maybe not. I don't know what you're talking about," she said, stepping forward. "No?" I pulled out my phone. Tapped twice. The screen lit up with her betrayal. "Because it looks a lot like you." Jessica stared at it. Then at me. Then back again. "Is this some kind of joke? Did you fake this?" And there it was. The first lie. Not denial. Not apology. Just immediate deflection. A coward's first move. I didn't say anything. I just stared. "You really think I'd do something like that?" she asked, voice rising. "I don't have to think. I saw it." She laughed, then laughed. This sharp, cruel noise that had nothing to do with humor. "Wow. You've really gone insane, Nate. Jesus. This is pathetic." I didn't speak. Because I knew the war had just begun. She stormed out of the kitchen like the house offended her. The way she moved, shoulders tight, feet slapping the hardwood, told me she had no plan, just heat. She didn't go far. I heard her in the hallway rifling through her bag like she could find a reset button in there. I stayed at the table, sipped my now cold coffee, watched the steamless mug while the woman I married, no, the stranger wearing her skin, paced back and forth behind the wall like a cornered animal. Then she came back in, holding her phone like it was a weapon. This is insane, she snapped. Who sent you that video? I told you. I don't know. Bullshit. You're messing with me. This is some kind of sick revenge game or whatever because you can't handle me going out for one damn weekend. I stood. Slowly. Because I'd had enough of pretending this was anything but what it was. You think someone hacked your life just to frame you? I said, walking around the table. That someone defaked you into a hallway in that dress with that guy saying those words? She stared me down. But the fire was gone. Her eyes darted, searching for a foothold in a collapsing argument. I don't know what I'm looking at, she said. Quieter now? It's blurry. It's 4K, Jess. She flinched at that. Tiny. Barely there. But I caught it. I pulled up the video again. Played it once more. She didn't look this time. Just stared at the floor like it would swallow her if she stayed still long enough. Who is he? Silence. Name. I want a name. Nothing. Fine, I said. Then let's talk about how you lied when you said you were at a club all night. Because the timestamp says 2:18 a.m. and you were on the 7th floor of the Hyatt. Know how I know? That little green emergency exit sign in the background. Same one from their booking site. Stop. She said it like a child. Not loud. Not furious. Just small. Powerless. I didn't. Let me guess, you were drunk, right? It didn't mean anything. You were just caught in the moment. He was there. You were lonely. One thing led to another. You didn't plan it. Am I getting close? Nate? You said no one would miss you. That's what broke me. You weren't just cheating, you were confident about it. Proud even. Like it was a little vacation from your life. From me. She looked at me then, eyes red but not crying. Jessica had never been the weepy type. When she was cornered, she got cruel, not fragile. Okay, she said. Fine. You want honesty. Too late for that. No, it's not. You want to know the truth? It was one night. One stupid night. I was drunk, I was emotional, and I made a mistake. It's not like I'm in love with the guy. He's just some random. You called him baby. She blinked. The truth stabbed her before I even threw it. You said, baby, you're bad for me. Sounded like you'd said it before. Her mouth opened. Closed again. A crack in the mask. You don't even like tequila, I added. You used to gag at the smell of it. But you were throwing back shots in that video like it was water. Who taught you that? Jessica's voice dropped to a whisper. Don't do this. No, Jess. You don't get to cry foul now. You came home wearing the same dress you got touched in, kissed in, moaned in, and you thought coffee and a smile would clean it off. She finally turned, facing the window. Her breath fogged up the glass. She wiped it with her sleeve like she needed something to do. What do you want me to say? She muttered. I want to know when it started. She didn't answer. How many times? I pressed. Still nothing. Who else knows? She turned around, eyes sharp again. You want a number? A date? Some calendar entry with hearts and check marks? It wasn't like that, Nate. It wasn't planned. Bullshit. Oh, screw you, she hissed. You don't get to sit there and act like I'm the only one who's been miserable. I blinked. Excuse me. You think I haven't noticed? You come home every night, eat dinner in silence, stare at your phone like I'm wallpaper. You haven't touched me in months. That's because I knew something was wrong. No, you decided something was wrong. You started treating me like a stranger long before Nashville. I just finally acted like one. There it was. A confession dressed in venom. She wasn't sorry. Not really. Maybe sorry she got caught. But her heart? That was long gone. Out the door with a stranger's hand on her hip. I took my phone. Hit pause on the video. Walked past her. Where are you going? She asked. To call a lawyer. And for the first time, she looked afraid. She followed me up the stairs like a ghost in a dress that no longer meant anything to me. Nate, wait, can we just talk? I didn't stop. I opened the drawer beside our bed, pulled out the spare charger, my passport, and the envelope I kept tucked beneath a stack of winter shirts, the one labeled just in case. I never thought I'd actually need it. But now it felt like a lifeline. Nate? Stop. She grabbed my wrist. I turned slowly. She wasn't crying. Not like I'd expected. She wasn't yelling either. Her hand trembled on my skin, but her eyes held mine, steady, stubborn. Still trying to win. I didn't plan it, she whispered. I swear to God, it just happened. It always just happens with people like you. People like me? You lie. You cheat. And then when it hits the fan, you gaslight until it smells like roses again. That's not fair. No, Jess. You want fair? Fair was me never once looking at another woman while you were out every other weekend pretending to be 25 again. Fair was me taking Marley out every night while you were too tired to even walk 10 steps. Fair was me putting up with your cold shoulder for months because I thought maybe you were just burned out, not screwing around behind my back. She backed up like I'd slapped her. But it wasn't the volume. It was the truth. And it cut sharper than yelling ever could. I didn't sleep with him, she said suddenly. I laughed. Out loud. Loud enough that Marley barked downstairs. That your big reveal? I said, shaking my head. You want points because he didn't technically finish? Because you got interrupted before the final act? I'm telling you, nothing happened. We kissed. That was it. Then why the hallway? Why the dress? Why did you call him baby? Why'd you let him touch you like that? I was drunk. Then stopped drinking. She clenched her fists. Her face twitched. Then something dark moved through her eyes like a curtain yanked open too fast. You think you're perfect, she snapped. You're so full of yourself. You always act like you're the victim, but do you even hear yourself? You think because you didn't cheat, you're a saint? Newsflash, you were boring. You haven't been present in this marriage for a long damn time. I stared at her. There it was. The core. Not regret. Not sorrow. Just blame. I grabbed the small duffel bag from the closet and started packing a few clothes. Nothing serious, just enough to disappear for a few nights. Let the poison settle. So that's it, she said behind me. You're just leaving? I'm not the one who left, Jess. You did. She laughed dry bitter. You always act like you're better than me. No. I just never stooped to what you did. Her tone turned hard. You walk out that door, don't expect to come back. Trust me, I said, zipping the bag, I'm not the one who'll be begging to come back. She went silent. I looked at her one more time. Same face. Same lips. Same eyes I used to love staring into on lazy Sunday mornings when nothing in the world mattered but the curve of her smile. Now I couldn't even see her without replaying that 15-second clip in my head like a goddamn torture loop. I walked down the stairs. Molly followed, tail low. At the door, she said one last thing. I hope you enjoy being alone. I opened the door. Cool morning air hit my face like truth. I've been alone for months, I said, not turning around. Then I closed the door behind me. I didn't go far. I couldn't. My hands were shaking too much to drive. I parked 2 blocks away in the lot behind the grocery store, killed the engine, and just sat there. The bag sat in the passenger seat, half-zipped, a sock sticking out. Marley's leash was in the back. I hadn't brought him, couldn't. I didn't want him caught in the storm. Not yet. The silence inside the truck buzzed like static. I kept thinking I'd cry. That it would all hit me in one wave and I'd finally break down like in the movies. But there was nothing. Just this hollow throb in my chest like someone had carved out the center of me and left the skin standing. My phone lit up. Jessica, can we please talk? Come back. Please. Jessica, I'll tell you everything. I just didn't want to lose you. Jessica, don't ignore me. Don't do this. I stared at the screen. Didn't want to lose me. After the lies. After the dress. After the hallway. I turned the phone face down. Minutes passed. Maybe hours. I don't remember. I ended up at my brother's place just before noon. He took one look at me and didn't say anything, just opened the door wider and nodded toward the spare room. You staying for a while? He asked. Yeah, I said. Probably. He gave me a long look, then just clapped me on the back and left me alone. I didn't explain. I couldn't. Instead, I lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling, hearing her voice in every goddamn corner of my mind. I thought about the Nashville trip. The build-up. The careful planning. Her texting me in the middle of it pretending everything was normal. Laughing about bridesmaids asking me how Marley was, saying love you with an emoji while some guy zipped up his jeans in the next room. The rage came late. It always does with me. But when it hit, it burned like acid. I stood up and paced the room. Called the lawyer. Not a divorce lawyer yet. Just someone I knew from work. Asked for advice. Laid out the situation in vague terms. You got proof, he asked. I've got video. Then start documenting everything. Time, messages, receipts. Get it in order. That night, she sent a longer message. Jessica, I know I messed up. I don't have excuses. I just didn't feel wanted anymore. I felt invisible. And he made me feel like I mattered again. I didn't mean for it to go that far. I was scared. I was drunk. I felt stupid and ugly and you were always so distant lately. I'm not trying to justify it. I just want to fix it. Please let me fix it. I didn't reply. She didn't deserve a reply. Because let's be real, what she wrote wasn't an apology. It was a confession wrapped in self-pity. I felt invisible. I made her cheat, apparently. Like my quiet evenings and tired eyes gave her permission. That night I dreamed of the hallway again. The smirk. The no one's gonna miss us. She was right. I didn't miss her. I missed the version of her that never existed. The next morning, I woke up to another message. No, good morning. No, I'm sorry. Just this. Jessica, so is this how it ends? After everything? You're just walking away? I stared at it for a long time, feeling the weight of it press against me like a loaded question with a trigger. That's what it was now, every word from her, every breath, every look, it all felt like bait. Is this how it ends? The audacity. Like she hadn't already ended it herself in a hallway with someone whose name she still hadn't told me. That day at work, I was useless. I walked around the site with a clipboard in my hand, staring at beams and joists like they were written in a language I'd never learned. The guys noticed, but no one said anything. One of them, Marcus, gave me a look like he knew. Not the details, just the storm behind my eyes. Rough weekend? He asked quietly. Something like that. By noon, I was in my truck again, circling blocks without a destination. My phone buzzed nonstop. Calls. Messages. Missed FaceTimes. She was unraveling. Around 3 p.m., she sent a photo. It was her bedroom. My side of the bed, the dent in the pillow still fresh. My favorite hoodie, the gray one she always stole, folded on the edge of the mattress. Jessica, please come home. I'm begging you. I'll tell you everything. I'll go to therapy. I'll do whatever it takes. I just need you. Please don't shut me out. I pulled over. Read it again. Again. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. But something deeper kept me from answering. Because I knew now her idea of everything was never the whole truth. It was always just enough to stop the bleeding. Never enough to heal. That night, my brother and I sat on the porch. He finally asked. She cheat? I didn't answer. Just looked down at my beer. He nodded. Quiet understanding. You gonna try to fix it? She wants to. And you. I took a long breath. Let it out slow. I don't even know who she is anymore. He didn't push. I showed him the video. He didn't flinch. Just shook his head, took a drink. You always deserved better than her, you know that? I nodded. But it still felt like someone had died. And maybe someone had. Later, lying in the guest room, I scrolled back through our photos. Holidays. Anniversaries. That trip to Savannah where she wore white dresses and smiled like she actually loved me. Then Nashville. The last photo she posted, a group selfie, laughing, cheeks pink with booze, her eyes shiny with whatever came before the lie. I noticed something. The guy from the video was there. That corner. Arm half around her waist. Cropped awkwardly. Not so random after all. I zoomed in. Checked the timestamp. Same night. So she posed with him. Posted it. Let the world see a version of her night that was squeaky clean, while the real version whispered, no one's gonna miss us in the dark. And the whole world clapped. She was good at that, playing both sides. The loyal wife online, the free spirit in the shadows. But I wasn't going to be a prop in her story anymore. Not even a background character. The next day, I booked a meeting with the divorce lawyer. No threats. No second warnings. Just the first real step toward freedom. The moment the lawyer slid the first draft of the papers across the table, it felt surreal. There was my name, Nate Carter, in block letters beside hers, Jessica Carter. Married October 14, 2018. No kids. No joint business. One shared mortgage. One golden retriever. Clean break, the lawyer said. You've got evidence. She doesn't contest, it's over in weeks. I nodded, but my chest tightened anyway. Not because I was unsure. Just because I never thought I'd be here. Signing a life off like a contract that went sour. That night, I went back to the house for the first time since walking out. I texted her beforehand. Told her I needed to pick up a few things, important things. She didn't answer. When I pulled into the driveway, the porch light was off. But the living room was glowing. I stepped inside and everything felt quieter. Like someone tried to rearrange it to feel normal but forgot where everything belonged. Marley barked once, then ran to me. His tail wagged furiously, whining, circling my legs like I'd been gone a year. I knelt down and hugged him tighter than I'd planned to. I missed you too, buddy. Jessica appeared from the hallway. She looked different. Not worse. Just smaller. Hair tied up in a lazy bun. No makeup. Baggy t-shirt. The costume of vulnerability. You look tired, she said. You look guilty, I replied. She flinched. I walked past her. Grabbed my coat from the hook. My watch from the dish. A box I kept under the TV cabinet with old letters, concert tickets, random pieces of our so-called love life. Is this really it? She asked. You tell me. I said I was sorry. No, I said, turning to face her. You said you felt invisible. You said you were lonely. That's not an apology. That's you painting yourself as the victim. I was hurting, Nate. You just don't get it. You were never emotionally there for me anymore. You buried yourself in work, in schedules, in routines. Right? I said. And you buried yourself in someone else's arms. Her face hardened, just for a second. Then she softened again, strategically. I was scared. No, you were selfish. We stared at each other for a long time. No one moved. No one blinked. Then she said the one thing I wasn't expecting. I don't think I ever loved you the way you loved me. It landed like a hammer. And yet, it explained everything. The distance, the ease of her lies, the look in her eyes that night when I showed her the video, not horror, not regret, just panic. Panic at getting caught, not at hurting me. Thank you, I said. She blinked. For what? For finally telling the truth. And I meant it. That single sentence freed me more than any lawyer ever could. I gathered the last of my things. Couple of books, a sweatshirt, a photo of Marley as a puppy that I didn't want to leave behind. At the door, she spoke again. What happens now? I looked at her, really looked. You rebuild. And I walk away clean. I stepped outside. Marley followed. She didn't say goodbye. And neither did I. 2 weeks passed. The papers were filed. The silence between us settled like ash. Not a word since that night. No texts. No calls. Not even a message asking about Marley. She had gone radio silent, and I let her. I needed the quiet. I needed the distance to stretch long enough that I'd stop looking over my shoulder expecting her shadow. I stayed at my brother's place longer than planned. He never asked questions. Just left a beer by the couch every other night and let me breathe. That kind of peace is rare when your whole life has just collapsed in slow motion. Then, on a rainy Thursday morning, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to. Nate? It was Megan, Jessica's best friend. The bride. The reason they went to Nashville in the first place. Megan, God. I don't even know if I should be calling you. But I had to. There was a pause. Background noise. Like she was in her car. Wipers, low music. I'm not getting involved, she said quickly. I'm not taking sides. I didn't know how bad it was until last night. I sat up straighter. What do you mean? She told me you were overreacting. That it was just a kiss. That you were being dramatic. But then I saw the video. She showed it to me. My blood ran cold. She showed you the video? Yes. She was crying, saying it ruined everything. But Nate, she lied to me too. About him. About how long it had been going on. My stomach sank. There's more. Yeah. She said it was just that night. But I recognized him. His name's Chase. He's a DJ. She's been flirting with him at gigs for months. I saw them together back in March. She swore it was harmless. March. That was 3 months before the trip. She's not telling you everything, Megan continued. I'm only calling you because I think you deserve to know you're not crazy. You didn't imagine it. She crossed the line way before Nashville. I thanked her, hung up. Then I just sat there, phone resting on my thigh, trying to feel surprised. I wasn't. I think a part of me already knew. The betrayal hadn't started in that hallway. That was just the moment she stopped hiding it. The real betrayal was the slow fade, the secret messages, the harmless touches, the weekends away that suddenly had no photos, the rehearsed smiles when she walked through the door smelling like a lie. She didn't just cheat. She trained for it. That night I didn't eat, didn't talk. I took Marley for a walk around the block and watched the rain hit the streetlights until everything blurred together. And when I got back, I opened my laptop and wrote a letter. Not for her. Not to send. For myself. I listed every time I'd ignored my instincts. Every excuse I let her feed me. Every kiss I convinced myself still meant something. I read it back. It was ugly. But it was honest. And at the end, I wrote one sentence. The man I am becoming will never settle for crumbs again. I didn't go looking for her. But life has a way of dangling unfinished business in front of you when you're finally learning to breathe without it. 3 Saturdays after that call from Megan, I was standing in line at the hardware store. Just grabbing a few things for my brother. Minor repairs around the garage door. Nothing major. Nothing emotional. Then I saw her. Jessica. She was 2 aisles over carrying a plant. A goddamn plant. The kind she always said she didn't have time to keep alive. She looked up, saw me, and froze. I didn't move. Not out of fear. Not anger. Just indifference. Cold, clean indifference. She walked over slowly, her expression unreadable. A tight-lipped smile playing on her face like a mask pulled from a drawer she hadn't opened in a while. "Hi," she said. I nodded. "Jessica, you look good." I didn't return the compliment. She shifted her weight from one foot to the other, fingers tightening around the rim of the plant pot. "I was hoping we'd run into each other at some point." "Why?" She paused, exhaled, looked away. "I wanted to tell you that I'm sorry. Again. In person." I let the silence hang. "I've been going to therapy," she added quickly, like that might impress me. I raised an eyebrow. "That for me or for your next victim?" She winced. "Okay. Fair." Another pause. Then, "I saw Megan." "I know. She told me she called you." "She did." Jessica nodded like she expected as much. "So, you know it wasn't just Nashville." "I knew before she told me." She blinked. "How?" "Because liars like you can't help but keep talking." She bit the inside of her cheek. "I guess I deserved that." "You deserve a hell of a lot more than that." Jessica glanced around the store, like maybe she thought she could find a version of herself hiding behind a shelf. One who didn't wreck everything. One who still had a husband. "I think about us a lot," she said quietly. "There is no us, Jess." Her lips parted, then closed. I stepped around her, basket in hand. She turned to follow, but I stopped and looked over my shoulder. "You had love," I said. "The kind of love people beg for. Steady, boring, loyal love. And you looked at it like it was a cage." She said nothing. "You don't miss me. You miss control." Still nothing. "You let a man touch you in a hallway, and now you can't sleep alone without imagining who's seen the video." Her eyes filled with tears, but I didn't flinch. "I hope the plant doesn't die," I said. "But if it does, you'll find someone else to water it, right?" I left her there, alone. And for once, I didn't look back. I didn't tell anyone about the hardware store. Not my brother. Not Megan. Not even the therapist I'd finally convinced myself to see after months of avoiding that stiff couch and sterile clock-ticking room. Because the truth was, seeing her didn't shake me. Confirmed everything. Jessica wasn't the wound anymore. She was the scar. A few days later, the divorce papers came back finalized. A manila envelope slid through the mail slot like an ending in slow motion. No dramatic flourish, no last-minute plea. Just signatures, stamps, legal silence. And her name on a different line now, no longer next to mine. I read every page. Not because I needed to, but because I wanted to feel the weight of what was gone. Not mourn it, understand it. She got her stuff. I got the house. Marley stayed with me. Fair. Uncomplicated. Except for what came next. Because the day after, she emailed me. Subject. Just one thing. I hovered over the message for 10 minutes before opening it. "Nate, this isn't about us. I know that door's closed. But I woke up last night from a dream. Marley was in it. He was older. He wouldn't stop running. And I realized I never even got to say goodbye. I'm not asking for anything more than 5 minutes. I just want to see him. You can be there. You don't have to speak to me. I just need to say goodbye to something. Please, Jessica." I stared at it, scanned it again, and again. And for the first time in months, I actually considered saying yes. Not for her. For Marley. Because he loved her once. Because he used to wait at the door for her heels to click against the porch. Because even now, when he hears the garage creak, his ears still perk like a tiny part of him thinks she might walk in. So I replied, "Tomorrow. 5:30. 10 minutes. That's it." When she showed up, she didn't knock. She just waited on the porch, hands in the pockets of a denim jacket I used to steal when it rained. Marley bolted the second I cracked the door, tail wagging like the past never happened. He loved hard. No matter what. He bounded into her arms and she fell to her knees, burying her face into his fur. "I missed you," she whispered. "So much." I stood by the doorway, silent. She didn't look at me, didn't try to cross the space. She just stayed there, holding on to the last piece of the life she'd destroyed. After 6 minutes, she stood, wiped her eyes. No dramatics. No reach for my hand. Just a soft, broken nod. Take care of him, she said. I always did. She walked down the steps slowly, and for once she didn't look back. And I realized something. That wasn't her saying goodbye to Marley. That was her saying goodbye to who she used to be. It's strange how quiet the world gets when you let go of noise you thought you couldn't live without. After Jessica left that evening, Marley lay by the door for a while. Waiting, probably. But he didn't whine. He didn't pace. Just rested his head on his paws like he knew, really knew, she wasn't coming back this time. And neither was the version of me that would have waited with him. The next morning, I woke up before my alarm. Sunlight cut through the blinds, clean and gold. I made coffee, no second cup. No oat milk. No listening for her footsteps upstairs. Just the sound of Marley's tail thumping once when I passed by. A quiet, perfect rhythm. There were no more emails. No texts. No last-ditch apologies or voice notes where she cried until the end and hoped that would be enough. I think she understood finally. Some betrayals are one-time detonations. Hers was a slow, deliberate erosion. She chipped away at us until there was nothing left to hold. And then she blamed the dust. I never responded to the people who said, "You should forgive." They weren't in my hallway. They didn't hear her laugh when she thought I wouldn't find out. They didn't read her messages after, the ones where she twisted guilt into a noose and tried to loop it around my neck. I forgave myself, though. That part took longer. I forgave myself for not catching it sooner. For giving too many second chances. For loving her past the expiration date. I still remember our wedding day sometimes. Not with grief, but with clarity. She looked beautiful. And empty. I didn't see it then, but the signs were there. In the way she squeezed my hand too tight during the vows. In the way she never fully looked me in the eye. Like she knew she was promising something she couldn't keep. I was in love with the idea of her. The possibility. The potential. But loving potential is just gambling in slow motion. So what now? I rebuilt. I gutted the spare bedroom and turned it into a workspace. Started writing again, something I hadn't done since college. I walked Marley every morning without rushing. I joined a gym, deleted old voicemails, learned to cook something other than pasta and panic. I learned that healing doesn't come with fireworks. It comes with habits. With days that feel boring in the best way. With choosing yourself over and over again until it becomes reflex. If you're reading this because you're where I was, standing in front of a truth you never asked for, hear me. Leave. Not out of rage. Not out of revenge. But because staying will turn you into someone you won't recognize in the mirror. She won't save you. And she won't suffer for what she did, not the way you think. She'll move on. She'll lie about what happened. She'll repaint the ending in colors that make her the victim and you the villain. Let her. Because when the world is quiet and your house is yours again and your dog's tail still thumps when you walk in it, that's peace. That's freedom. That's the life you were always meant to have once you stopped settling for one built on lies. And that's the real ending.